So today we're talking about the Cityline series from Quartz Luxury, which is the division of Quaker Windows. Quartz Luxury is the high-end residential division of Quaker Windows, which is typically a commercial product. So it's a really great product to consider if you have a substantial home, luxury style home that considers modern living, in the sense that you can get a commercial product, a commercially rated window in a residential application. Really a fantastic option with their all aluminum products that focus on OptiCore technology. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But to start, we're gonna go over the inside and some of the benefits and features of a Quartz Luxury Cityline window. The Cityline window is a casement window, meaning it's going to crank out. Now they have two different types. One is a crank out, and then the other would be a push out, but both would have the functionality that they're going to swing out of the house into the exterior. The Cityline window, again, aluminum interior, aluminum exterior, OptiCore technology for substantial energy performance in between, and all the glazing options that you would typically think of would be available with your low E 272 or your low E 366 or 366 with I-89 hard coat. All those options are available, but because they are typically a commercial manufacturer, there's a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily think of, but that would work well in an application, like an insulated panel or something like that going underneath the window. There's a lot of applications that you can pull from that commercial side and really make a statement in a residential application. Now, their window has a beautiful, just clean, sleek, squared off finish to the inside. They keep it pretty minimal on the inside, which is nice. There's not a lot of steps and details to it on the inside. It's just clean and narrow. And price point wise, they come in at a pretty aggressive price point when you consider them up against other aluminum manufacturers. Sure, it's going to be a little bit more than an aluminum clad window, but that's expected when you're looking at aluminum products. Where they really shine is the price point they come in, the quality they come in, and where that compares to other aluminum manufacturers considering their performance. Again, OptiCore technology, which we're going to touch on. But casement window on top, direct set window below, and you can see this is a wireframe mull. What do I mean by wireframe mull? A wireframe mull is one continuous frame all the way around, and they stop a wireframe mull in between the two windows. So it's a way that you can have a more narrow view, you can have a more cost-effective product as well. That wireframe allows a really narrow view on a very substantial product, substantial size product, really a lot of sizes, a lot of options, and it allows you to play. But say you're in something where you need something larger than a wireframe will accommodate, which again, they'll go into really large sizes on that. But you can do what's called a T-mull. And a T-mull, I have it for example right here. So it's a casement window with a direct set picture next to it with a T-mull in place. You can see it's a little bit wider, but that's because the window that I have next to this is about 5 foot wide by 9 foot tall, attaching to this unit here. So there's ways to really make huge assemblies when you have this T-mull in place, which is either a 1/2 inch wide or 1 inch wide, and it just allows substantial openings to be made. From an installation perspective, this is a pretty cool option, and it's not like a lot of the other companies out there. You would set a window in the opening, you would drop your T-mull in, set the other window in, and then you basically just screw them together and it holds in place. And it's really a really cool system, the way that all assembles. That T just holds in place, the gasket seals it, and there's just those nut drivers there. Drive it in, cover over the top, clean, sleek, done. When you consider windows of this stature and this size, weight becomes a consideration, and those T-mulls allow it to be much more manageable on a job site. Speaking of having this product on a job site and glass, most of their products come glazed from the factory, which when you consider aluminum products, that's a real win because most aluminum products have to be glazed in the field, specialty installers, glass on site, glass breaks. There's a lot of issues with that. Quartz Luxury, big win in the fact that it is factory glazed. Now, how it works, how it operates. Hardware is a big deal with Quartz Luxury, and they use a sequential locking system, which I show right here, right? So that just flips up, cranks out or pushes out. And with that being said, you're gonna have European hardware throughout this window, meaning nothing is screwed directly into the jamb. Everything is held with Allen key, little set screws, so everything can be moved, adjusted, tweaked as needed. The hardware that's on their window can accommodate a window that's 4 foot by 7 foot or 3 foot by 8 foot out of the box, no special requirements, no special hardware, it's just what it has. And the sheer weight and size of their product really is something to speak for. Now, when you consider the locking mechanisms on there, everything is held in with an Allen key. It's their European technology that they use. So say over time, the house settles, the window needs a quick adjustment, it's literally loosen the Allen key, slide that lock wherever it needs to be and done. Some of the other things that we're really a fan of here at Monmouth Millwork are the hinges that they use. They use a European Schick hinge. And the benefit of a European Schick hinge, it's going to allow you to completely adjust that window. Wide, up, down, left, right, in, out. That European Schick hinge is going to give you quite a bit of flexibility over time as a house settles or if there's any sort of issue to ensure that that window operates perfectly in combination with the adjusters that are on the sequential locking system. Now, we've talked about the inside. Let's go ahead and move to the outside. So we talked about the inside, but the exterior is really important with all of the options that are available with the Cityline product. First and foremost is just the substance and how substantial the sash is. Now, most window manufacturers in that aluminum clad market or in that aluminum market, sash is about 1.75 inches thick. Their sash boasts about 3 7/8 on the thickness. I mean, it is just massive. There's nothing really like that in the market. Of course, there's something everywhere, but with that being said, we like to say to clients, I bet you haven't seen that, because most folks haven't. Most architects that come into the showroom or builders or homeowners come in and they've been looking at a lot of different things, and when they see this, everyone has the same reaction, which is wow. How thick that is and how substantial that is just adds to the overall performance, character, and rigidity of that window, and it ensures that you're getting a luxury product that's going to look beautiful today and in 30 years. Now, you'll look here, you'll see that weather stripping. It's like a car door, the weather stripping on that. That weather stripping is substantial on the side, more weather stripping on the interior of the sash. So as that window is hit with the elements, with the wind, weather, rain, snow, you name it, it's just sealing it tighter, which is really a great added benefit to their casement window with the way it is weather stripped. You probably haven't seen a window that has a weather stripping like that, which really adds to their substantial DP ratings, their design pressure ratings, which we show right here. Now, some of the other differences with Quartz Luxury is their glazing. Now, they do a glazing that is either a square glazing bead on the outside or a beveled glazing bead on the outside. Now, glazing bead is what holds the glass in. When they drop the glass in, it's siliconed in place or it's dry fit in place, and the glazing bead is what holds it. It's that little trim piece. Now, the square is great and has a really cool look if you're looking for an ultra modern look, but what's really a benefit to a Cityline product is it doesn't have to be ultra modern. It doesn't have to be a super modern house. When you add that beveled glazing bead on the outside, it just adds a softness that makes it a little less hygienic, that makes it a little more warm, that even if you're doing a modern house and really large size openings, that beveled glazing bead just softens it a little bit, that in a residential application, it's the chef's kiss, if you will, on that. And what's really cool about Cityline is, again, the performance and what matters. The things that you don't necessarily notice are the super spacer that is put in between the glass. When they sandwich the glass together, it's a no metal warm spacer technology that is the super spacer. So It just creates a beautiful shadow line across the sash. It just adds that shadow in there. You don't really draw attention to it because it's not a black anodized glazing bead. It's not a stainless steel glazing bead. Your eye is just drawn away from it. But that super spacer technology absolutely boosts the performance of that window. So looking at the outside of the window, you're gonna see it's set to the outside compared to most windows out there that are inset. It's a little bit of a different look, but that again adds to the performance, adds to the sealing power of that window, and that outset sash adds kind of a cool reveal, adds a nice little line that in a modern application, I think is a nice touch. So let's talk about Opticore. Now, this is what really makes a Quartz Luxury product a substantial product in the market when you put it all together, because the performance of a Quartz Luxury product is substantial. And the way they do that is their thermal break. The thermal break on most aluminum products is simply just a small piece of rubber that goes in between the exterior and interior part of the window, which allows it to not transfer heat and cold as much as it would if it was just metal going from the exterior to the interior. What Quartz Luxury has done a fantastic job at is putting a thermal break in place that is injected with air, so it creates almost like an insulated foam technology like you would use to insulate around a window, but that has structural integrity, and then after the fact has the metal ripped out of the back of the frame, which virtually has no metal touching the exterior or interior. There is no contact of metal from the outside on the inside, which allows them to have added performance and a substantial product, as well as a product that's at a great price point. So Opticore is definitely something that's making waves. Opticore is definitely something to pay attention to, because it's not your grandmother's thermal break. It's something that's new and it's out there and it has a lot of folks curious. So Quartz Luxury is making waves, especially with the Cityline product. And the Opticore technology is definitely something to learn about. If you want to learn more about Quartz Luxury products, check out this video right here. If we can help you with your project, contact us at info@monmouthmillwork.com.